What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Babbles Nonsense podcast. I was really not sure if we would get an episode out this week because of the holidays and whatnot, but me and Meenu had some time to sit down and do a New Year's podcast where we talk about like reflections and letting go of things in 2024 and things that we want to bring into 2025 and goals and such as that. So if you were listening to this on Tuesday, happy New Year's Eve. If you were listening to this past Tuesday, then happy New Year's. I hope you all have some goals and some reflections that you are sitting down and either journaling on or thinking out loud, and I hope you enjoy ours as well.
All right, welcome back, guys, and to a brand new episode and transcend into wellness with Babbles Nonsense.
Yes.
We really wanted to record a few episodes to be released, probably one before New Year and one after New Year, or even before, because I've started doing 2 episodes a week. I don't know if you know that, Jonna, but I've been very heavy on the content department.
And I have not. Which I'm so mad because I came up to Nashville. Everyone should know this. I came up to Nashville the week of Thanksgiving and I recorded in person with Meenu and I recorded with my cousin Hannah. And I was so excited to like get those episodes out because they were so good. And whatever was going on in the universe that week was technical difficulties because I did an amazing episode with my cousin, 45 minutes into it, didn't record, had to re-record. And then me and you had a great episode, got home, tried to put it on the thing, and I was like, where did it go?
Yeah.
Where's the episode? I was like, what is going on? And it deleted from my computer. And I'm so mad about it because that was our first in-person
I
episode
know,
versus
that was the
Zoom
first
episodes.
impression. I know
And it
that's
was
I think
such
that's
a good
what happened.
episode.
Such a good episode. We have to recreate. We will recreate it. We will. And it's really interesting because I think the first time we decided to originally do it is me coming down to Huntsville and then do a podcast episode and then go and have like lunch in a gluten-free restaurant because Jonna and I are like mostly gluten-free.
Yeah.
I like to say mostly, like she's better than I am. But anyway, we have like this whole day planned. And then Jonna was, she came before that. So I was like, okay, may as well knock it down. And
Yeah,
then
I was like, I'm coming anyways for the holidays. I was like, do you have time? She even moved a client for me.
gosh.
This was the whole thing. And then I was like, I got home and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I bought this software and everything to try to like get it off my hard drive and I could not figure out the software. And I was just like, because I have a recorder, right? Like I have a podcast recorder. I put it onto my computer. I never delete it off the recorder until I know it's on my computer. I even saved it. I titled it everything like save, yada, yada. Can't even find the saved copy. I don't even know where it went. I was like,
Yeah,
the universe just wasn't ready for
I
that
know.
episode.
Like so interesting, I mean, not to go on a tangent on this, but sometimes when like things happen and you don't know why it didn't happen in the way that you originally planned, and you can't comprehend in your logical mind and your ego as to why certain things do not happen. This is one of those things like I cannot in my logical
Girl,
mind.
and that day, like I was so tired. Like I had had no sleep. I
I
drove,
remember.
like I went to
Yeah.
the gym. I drove up to see you. Then I went to eat and then I went to see my cousin. And then like that whole technical difficulty with my cousin that I didn't even get to the hotel till 9 o'clock. And I was like, this is a shit show just trying to get podcasts out. And then of course I get home and I'm like, where the hell is the episode with me and you?
No, it's all good. I think there is a big cosmic reason for the episode not to be released. And
There's
we're just
gotta
gonna have
be.
to trust it. We're just gonna have to trust God and the forces of the universe in this one.
Have to because that was just insane. Like my aunt was like, "See, I told you you needed sleep. You're just sleep deprived. That's what the universe is telling you. Get sleep." And I was like, "Must be." I was like, "Because
Oh,
I've never like in the 4 years. So in January, which I don't know when this episode will come out, so it's either going to come out the last week of December or in January. That this will mark 4 years for the Babbles Nonsense podcast.
so
And
great.
never in 4 years have I had this many technical difficulties. I was like, you would think I would be experienced by now."
Oh my God. Oh my, 4 years is a lifetime. It almost feels like it's a long time. So we need to, side note, we need to celebrate that. But yes,
Yes.
how was your Christmas and what did you do?
So my Christmas, I always go home to Winchester, which is a small town in Tennessee. Just got to celebrate with my immediate family, my mom, my stepdad, my sister, my stepbrothers and sisters. So I actually got to see my stepbrother the weekend before Christmas, but then my other stepbrothers and sisters, I didn't get to see them because they had other family to see before. But there was no drama, which is a miracle in my household. So very thankful to the gods that there was no drama. Of course, I went to my friend Mal's. I always go to her house. They always welcome me in on Christmas. So went to her house, but I was so tired that I was like, guys, I'm leaving. And they were like, you're leaving? I was like, yeah, I'm tired. I'm old.
I'm tired, I'm old. Nobody can
How,
argue with that.
how was your Christmas? First of all, do you
Mhm.
celebrate Christmas?
So that's a really good question. I never did. And then once I moved to the United States and I started seeing like the decorations and the lights and people putting up trees, I just felt really drawn to it. I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is so like amazing. Nobody said I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I mean, I have my religion, but I'm not religious, if you know what I mean. So it's like, I was just like, I'm going to get a tree and I'm going to do this because it's also like vibey. And
Mm-hmm.
guys, like, it's horrible. Like, I mean, Jonna is, in Alabama and I'm in Huntsville and I'm in Tennessee. So it gets dark at 3:30 and it is not even cool.
That's why I'm
I'm
in bed by 8 o'clock. It's been dark for 5 hours. So
Right, right. Yeah. Like literally, I feel like our bodies start producing melatonin at 4 p.m. or something. Like, what is going on? So for me, like it can get a little too depressing if it's too gloomy. So I like to put the tree and put the lights on so it feels more like, I don't know, celebration.
yeah.
It's twinkly and it's sparkly. So I don't celebrate Christmas, but I've started celebrating Christmas in the last 2 to 3 years. And so my friends and I exchange some presents sometimes with no pressure. We don't have any rule to do that. That's something that we like talked about. We shouldn't have rules that we have to be obligated to give each other presents, like nothing like that, because I think that's just conditioning. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but we celebrate, and then I saw a few friends, and then very, very low key. I was at home. I took the day off and did a lot of self-care. That's my kind of celebration. I'm not gonna be you have to kick me out screaming and crying if you want me to party outside.
Now, is your religion Hinduism?
Yes.
Do y'all have like a similar, like I know like Christmas is like Christ is born, like we celebrate the birth of Jesus. Do y'all have like a similar holiday around Christmas? Like I know like there's like there's Hanukkah and there's stuff like that similar, but it's not exactly the same. Like do y'all celebrate anything close to the same time of year?
Oh, absolutely. So like we do celebrate Christmas in
Oh, you
India.
do?
Yes, it's actually a public holiday because we have a lot of Christians that still live there.
Oh, cool.
It's still a public holiday, and the New Year is a public holiday. We celebrate like God's birthdays. You know how like Christ's birthdays, Christmas. We celebrate like different God's birthdays, mainly the elephant-headed God, Ganesh. We celebrate his birthday, which is a big deal all over India. And then we also celebrate Diwali, which is the festival of lights. It is almost symbolic of bringing more light into our lives.
I love
You know,
that.
it's amazing. So we definitely do all that. It's awesome. I miss home so much every time like
I was
I'm
gonna
over.
say we need to do something in Nashville that celebrates your religion as well. Like, could we do some kind of like festival of lights at your house?
Yeah, so like for example, they do it in the temple.
Okay.
I pretty much go to the temple every year and they celebrate the Festival of Lights, which is Diwali. And they have like this big function and a lot of guests and food and lights, and a lot of people do like auspicious ceremonies and prayers. And it's really beautiful. So that happens every year in the temple. And a lot of Indians that live in Nashville celebrate it on a very like small scale.
I think that we should do that at your house next year and do like a Zoom free call-in session.
Oh my God, yes.
That would be amazing. Like we could just do your office. Like we could, me and you decorate your office, do some kind of like live podcast recording or something,
Oh, that would
and
be
do
so
like, yeah,
good.
and like just like send it out to your email list and people can join in via Zoom and like we could just talk about like the spirit of the season or something.
Yes, spirit of the season, bringing more light, I mean, light into our lives, all of those things.
I
Yes,
think it'd be cool.
I'm down. Such a great idea.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, we have been babbling. Yes, but that's what I love about Jana is she can take any topic and make it into a podcast. It's a real gift. Oh my gosh. Like,
Well, because I love to talk, like the whole reason for my podcast 4 years ago was like I could literally talk to a wall if it would talk back.
yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
because I have so many questions because people are just interesting to me. But honestly, it's my downfall, but it's also it's like a positive and a negative because the negative being that people think I'm being argumentative because I'm inquisitive. Like, so people think that I'm questioning them all the time. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm not questioning you. I'm truly
Yeah.
interested. Like, explain more. Tell me more.
Right, right, right. No, I love it. I love it. I love you for your straightforwardness. Like never, ever, ever change. I mean, I might like challenge you and we might challenge each other, but that's okay.
Yeah, and I love straightforward people. Like, I know people. I'm an acquired taste. We'll just put it that way.
That's very accurate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, we're going to jump into the new year. And I think me and you had a few topics that we were going to talk about coming up on the new year.
Yes, coming up on the new year and right before New Year, I don't know. I think this is going to be probably released for me next week, Tuesday, which is, I think, 31st. Am I right?
Hmm.
31st. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's right before New Year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so we wanted to really like wrap up and talk about the biggest reflections that we've had in 2024. And I kind of wanted to jump in and talk about the biggest ahas and the biggest movers, for me in 2024 and which kept showing up again in like 2023. It kept showing up in 2022. But you know how, like you guys know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it takes something to show up so many times to be anchored in and be like, okay, this is it.
It's before,
Like,
like for me, it's that aha moment. Like, it clicked. Like, I get it. Like, I get it.
yes, absolutely. For me, the number one is that self-worth is the foundation of everything.
Yes.
Everything. And when I say everything, it's everything. It's like if you're asking, why do I attract toxic relationships? That's because you don't love yourself enough. That's because your worthiness is not up to the mark of how much you love yourself.
Yeah.
Why do I attract toxic friendships? Why do I have no boundaries? Why do I, not take care of my body? Why do I not take care of my health when I know I should not be eating this, should be eating this, should be doing that? Everything is deep rooted in self-care.
It is. It is.
Self-worth, everything is self-worth. Like if you really love yourself, if you feel worthy of your soul and your being on this planet, you will not make a lot of effed up decisions. Period. It's like
That's
that's simple.
true, but it's also like so hard. It's almost like, are we meant to have this sense of self-worth? Like, I'm not saying that we're not. Like, there are people that I know that are very secure and very like not self-centered in a bad way, but like centered in themselves. Like, I know who I am, self-centered, not self-centered in like in a bad way, but um there's so many people on this planet that aren't self-aware or, you know, have that sense of self. Like, it's almost like, is that the way it's supposed to be?
Yeah, that's the beauty.
Or is the planet, the things that we see, TV, media, is it set up to self-sabotage?
Oh, that's what I agree with always. You know how
Yeah.
I feel about conditioning. We've talked about it so much, right?
Yeah.
It's like I do feel like inherently, the second you are born and you come into the world, you are inherently worthy. But then there's so much conditioning given by our parents, given by the society, given by television, given by media. There's so much programming. Oh, you have to be a certain weight to feel good enough. You have to look a certain way to feel worthy. You have to
Right.
speak like this for people to respect you. I think there's just so much layers that keeps adding on, which makes it so difficult to own your worth.
Right. Right.
And that's the culprit. But I do believe inherently, if you're listening to this, just for being born, you are deeply worthy,
Right.
And so I would say, like, for all my clients, right? And Jonna knows this because she's worked with me a few times, is my first process is really deconditioning. It's questioning, it's making you question all your beliefs.
Right.
And asking, is that really serving or is that
Yeah.
sabotaging? Is it serving or sabotaging? Is it serving or sabotaging? That's it. You just have to like ask yourself. So for anybody that's like listening that feels like, oh, I don't have that, I don't feel that worthy, check in with your beliefs and ask yourself, is this serving me or is this sabotaging my dream life, my path, my destiny, my goal, whatever it is?
Right. I agree. 1000%.
Yeah, and then another thing that I like always reflect on, and I think this year it's been anchored in even more, is that boundaries really lead to greater fulfillment of life. And I have this boundary which is like really crazy. I talked about it in my podcast, if you guys listen to it, which is I came up with the boundary, I think in end of 2023 somewhere. And I had put the story on my Instagram where I said, I will not be taking phone calls. Like I'm open for text messages, I'm open for voice messages. I will not be taking phone calls.
I
Stop
hate
calling.
phone calls.
Me too. Stop calling. Stop calling.
Do
Oh
you
my
put
God.
on your voicemail, I will not pick up if you call me, please text me?
I need to do it. I probably need to like change my
I
voice.
I think I recently changed my voicemail a couple months ago that literally says like you miss me. If you would like
Yeah.
to get a faster response, please
Yeah.
send me a text message.
Yes, like literally, I will tell you this. This is so crazy. Like I had an appointment scheduled for a massage like a few days ago. And when I filled that intake form, they literally asked me, what form of communication do you prefer? I checked text.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't respect that. And they called me 3 times because the therapist changed or something. And I had to like make a point, right? So I didn't pick up. I was like, you can leave a voicemail. I'm not going to pick up. You're
But
not going to.
that's interesting that you like text messaging being like this life coach energy healer because we also talk about like how the world is very disconnected from self and like very disconnected from like what's the word not communication, but like with other people, where they say that the disconnect is that we don't have a lot of human interaction. We like that quick response. We like that text message. We like that voice note. But they say that we really should communicate more via talk, more FaceTime, more in person communication. So that's
Mhm.
interesting that you say that's a boundary of yours when the world is telling us, hey, actually, we're doing us a disservice by doing this quick response system of text message, voice notes, etc.
Right. So that's also, I feel like another layer of conditioning, and you knew I would say that. That's why you're laughing. You should see her face right now. She's laughing. I'm like, who said that? Why should that be true to me when I can just be true to what is true to me?
Right.
Right. So for me, like my favorite communication and my style of communication is voice notes because I feel like with voice notes, I can really feel their energy, and they can really feel my energy. So with my VIP clients, I actually give them access to Voxer, which is what we talk. It's like a walkie-talkie. So it's actually like talking on the phone, but it's like being more respectful of each other's times.
But I'm so much older than you, and like trying to get into voice notes has been like the bane of my existence. Like, I love getting them, like, it's fine. But like, for me to like, I'll be typing out a text message to because you voice note me a lot and I text you back.
Yeah.
But like, as I'm listening to the voice note, I'm writing a response to each thing that you say because by the time I get to the end of the voice note, because we send long voice notes to each other, we'll send like three,
You
4 minute voice notes. So
do.
like by the time I got to an end of a 4 minute voice note, I'd be like, what did she say at the beginning? Like I wouldn't even be able to respond to everything. So like
Yeah.
I'm starting to like take notes as I'm listening to your voice note, which is funny because if more guys would do this, because I feel like guys are the worst at this, like even text message in general. Have you ever texted, for instance, your boyfriend? You text your boyfriend, you ask him two questions. Does he answer both questions or just one?
Okay,
Usually it's just one.
that is true for men.
It's like they can only respond. Like the guy I was dating not too long ago, like I would ask him, like, what are we doing tonight? Or this is just for example, like, what are
Mhm,
we doing tonight? What's the dress code? I would
mhm.
only get one response. We're doing this. And I'm like,
Oh, I know.
okay. So you can't answer two things at one time. Cool. Got it.
That is so funny. That is very, I feel like that's very, very true for men. I don't know about age. I don't know. I mean, I'm questioning it because I have clients that are like way older than you and they use voice notes. So
Do
I don't
they?
know.
Like,
Yeah,
maybe I'm just because I'm stuck in the old times, like text messaging, and I'm also fast with text messaging. So,
you
like,
are.
I can
Yeah.
like type, 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 type. I'm
Right.
fast. I'm quick to respond. I'm a quick responder. And again, me and you will disagree to this. Like when it comes to dating, I'm not going to play those games. I'm not going to wait 5, 10 minutes to text you back if I'm on my phone sitting on the couch. I'm just not going to do it. Like element of surprise, forget it. I'll just be single the rest of my life because I'm not going to play these games to where I have to pretend to not be interested in you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I'm not
I
going to send a voice note because then my country bumpkin voice will be on a voice note for forever.
I love your country bumpkin voice. She's just messed. She's always being critical of herself. But anyway, what I was trying to say was that, like for me, yeah, coming back to the boundaries, it's like when I put that in my stories, so many people cheered me on, and then
Yeah.
so many people, some people were like, "Hey, is everything okay?" And then I was like, "Everything is like better than ever."
Yeah.
I have this
This is just
like
my boundaries.
yeah, I have this enhanced clarity that when I talk on the phone, what it actually does for me, I don't know about you guys, but what it does for me is it completely zaps me off my energy.
Yeah.
So my phone talk like if I'm talking on the phone, it's going to be with very few people. It will be with my parents because my parents live all the way in India and that is my form of connection with them. So it will be with my parents and my energy is reserved for certain things. And then it has to be after my parents, it has to be like my very, very, very inner circle, maybe two or three people, like not even that much, right? And then after that, it has to come to my VIP clients. And then after that, I actually don't have much energy. So it's just a boundary so that it preserves my energy. And then so I responded to everyone that, this is it. Like this is what it is. And then so I started missing people's calls because if you guys have listened to my previous episodes, I definitely struggled a lot with people pleasing. And so I recovered a lot of that. So for me, it's still like, damn, like I'm missing their calls, like, they must not like me. That pops up sometimes. And
Yeah.
they must be arrogant and they must think this, it pops up. But it's not the absence of the thought that anchors in who I am. It's the fact that I have those fears and sometimes they pop in and out, but I still make a choice. It's my action
Yeah.
that defines who I am. So it's like it has been a challenge in that way, but it has freed up so much energy. Oh my God. Like you guys should try it.
I'm with you. Like I haven't like publicly stated that, but like if I see someone calling me, even if I have time and I'm available, I don't answer.
hmm
Isn't that awful? Or I'll literally send them a text message and say, can't talk right now. What's up? I literally will text them at the same time they're calling me. I'm like, can't talk right now. What's up?
Oh my God. That's so crazy.
I just
No,
don't love talking on
yeah.
the phone. The only couple of people that I talk to on the phone is my Aunt Debbie because she's not well, she'll text, but like we talk on the phone because we have hour-long conversations. And then my mom, which love mom, hope she doesn't listen to this, but like our conversations are pointless. Like we're literally listening to each other breathe. That's and I'll finally be like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm tired of listening to you breathe. Okay, bye.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I totally feel that. And it's like for me, it's just freed up so much.
Also, can we don't FaceTime me if it's not a planned
Oh God.
FaceTime? There's this
Never
one
say
guy
yeah, I can't. Like,
There's
oh my
this one guy that I dated that literally FaceTimed me all the time. And like, y'all can't see this, but I look like a troll right now. Like, I have on mismatched sweatpants because I have self tanner on for New Year's Eve. And like, my hair has not been washed in 6 days, but like, don't FaceTime me unless you're going to tell me about it because I'm not, especially if we're dating and we're not in a committed relationship. Because, like, number one, I look like a troll. And number two, I'm trying to still be presentable to you so that you're not like, bye, Felicia.
right. Literally, it's like I switch between homeless to comfy. Comfy mode. Homeless mode to comfy mode. Homeless mode to comfy mode.
And
Like
currently I look homeless. So
yeah. And like my friends know this, right? My close friends know this. Like fashion is pain for me. comfort is key for everything. And I know comfort and fashion don't go hand in hand.
Yes, it can. Actually, this is something that I've embraced in 2024. So, like, my fashion is comfort, but also like comfort chic. So, you can actually find styles that are very comfortable and just gravitate more towards what you're comfortable in.
Yeah.
Don't try to like go towards things that you are having to push the mark with because that's not who you are.
Oh God, no.
So
Yeah.
go towards things that are comfortable and then you'll find your own sense of style. And that's kind of what I've leaned into. And I'm actually this past year, I've embraced my style. Like it's not like something like top 10, top tier that someone's like, oh my God, I want to look like her. But I'm comfortable and I think I look cute. So
That's so interesting you say that because I just recently started doing that. Like
yeah.
I'm wearing like a nice sweatshirt right now. It says homebody. It's very simple because I am a homebody. And then I matched it with like gold earrings and I put some lipstick on and my favorite rings. And this is a style. This is my style, like I'm not comparing or looking at anyone else and I'm wearing like cute sweatpants. Like that's it. I can actually go to Kroger and Trader Joe's with this.
See, and that's the difference. Like when I lived in Nashville, I felt like I had to be super cute anytime I went to the grocery store, like super cute. So like right now I'm in like this leopard pajama top with some gray sweatpants because again, it's self-tanning day. It's going to stain things. Like I'm not trying to be cute, right? I would go out in public in this in Huntsville. Like I totally do not care. Like whoever sees me, which maybe I should care. Maybe I'm going to meet my husband at the grocery store. But when I was in Nashville, there's no way in hell I would leave the house in this. No,
Yeah,
I
really.
wouldn't. Because the first time that I did go like in kind of mismatched sweats to the grocery store in Nashville, I was like, what? Like, why is every girl in here in matching sets?
Mhm. Oh, I feel you on that one. I feel, oh my God,
So
I feel you
big
on that.
difference in culture, which Huntsville's getting there. It's getting there, but I think I'm just so comfortable here that I just don't really care.
Yeah. No, good for you, girl. I mean, confidence is power. They say that.
I
Even
don't
if
know that I'm confident in it either. I just am like, I don't care enough.
I think that's a form of confidence. I don't,
Maybe.
I
I
don't
think
give an F. It's like, yeah.
I think the older I get, I'm just kind of like, this is who I am. Like, accept me or don't. Like, I half the time look like this. Like, the 1% time that I look presentable, like, is on my Instagram feed. And that's literally 1% of the time. And people are always like, oh my God, you look so nice. And I'm like, don't expect that if you ever
Oh my
meet
gosh,
me.
you look so cute in your Instagram feed. Oh my God. Like, yes, I agree with the people.
Yeah, not real life, but anywho.
Oh my gosh, sorry. We have so much. We have not caught up. So I think that's also like coming in this podcast.
But I think people like this is my type of podcast. I don't like formatted podcasts. I like a conversation. I think people like conversations because typically when I listen to podcasts, I'm on a long drive and I just want to zone out and I just want to be able
That's
to
true.
laugh with people and
That's
just be
so
like,
true.
what is going on in your life so I can get my mind off of my life.
Oh, that's so true. I'm starting to do more of that because my podcast episodes are so short. Oh, dangerously. And like some of them have told me, oh, they love the short episodes. Some of them are like, oh, I like longer episodes. So I totally get the car part. Like when I'm driving, I want to zone out and I'm ready to listen to an hour's episode or
Hmm.
a half. And it's just nice. It's nice to connect. So
Well, my
I
aunt that I love and I look up to, she always tells me, like, if I'm like, oh my God, listen to this episode, it was really good. She goes, did it have to be an hour? Could you make it 20 minutes? And I was like, Aunt Debbie, stop.
to listen to my episodes. They're like 10 minutes, 7 minutes, 14 minutes.
Well, my episode last week was 1 minute and 32 seconds.
Out. Really?
It
I need
literally
to do.
just said happy holidays. I'm not putting out an episode this week.
Oh my God, that's smart. I should have done that. Next, I'm stealing it for next year. I'm stealing it. But
I was like, enjoy
oh,
your vacation, enjoy your holidays. Bye.
yeah, I feel that. Oh my gosh. But yeah, boundaries are leading to greater fulfillment. And we talked about even boundaries of wearing what you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so the next thing I want to talk about is that like healing is really a journey. Healing is just not a destination. It's literally a journey. And so many people misunderstand this.
I
Oh
think
my,
that's something I guess that I would put in my top 10 of
yeah,
2024.
yeah.
That was something like I know that we worked together in 2023 and in 2024 and that was something that was very hard for me to like grasp was that
Mhm.
you're not just going to heal and be this new person. Like I
Hmm.
thought that's what it was. I thought, oh, I'm going to heal and I'm going to be this new person and I'm never going to have that backsliding moment and I'm never going to go back to the way that I was. But like after more communication with you and more coaching with you, like realizing, no, that's part of the healing is that you are going to take a few steps back and you still are that person you were that had those moments.
Hmm.
So I think that was a big takeaway from 2024 with me. And then just the biggest, I will say, advice wise, I think you gave it on the podcast last month to me. And that's something that's literally rang true. And I keep repeating it to myself when I have these moments is when you say you did the best that you could with the tools that you had at the time. So
Hmm.
anytime something happens and I'm beating myself up, that literally, for whatever reason, your voice comes through and I'm like, no, I did the best I could with what I had at that moment.
Hmm. That's so true because I feel like self-forgiveness is really important in healing. And, people like you, Jonna, especially, and I think I've done this with myself for the longest time until I stopped, is we can be highly critical of our own selves,
Yeah.
and because we're kind of competitive in different ways, and we kind of want to be better and we kind of strive for being better, showing up better. So there's that competitive side. So yes, I totally agree with that. And thanks for acknowledging that. And so many like clients, right? It's like, and my clients at this point know this. But sometimes out of the blue, I'll get a new client and they'll be like, oh, I just want to be fully healed. And I will just I will be like, listen, that's not the way I work. Because if somebody is telling you that you can fully heal, please don't waste your time and money. Like, do whatever you want. Like, but that's just my take on it. There's no such thing as fully healed. It's a scam. They're selling you something which is not real. It's not part of the human experience. And they actually end up paying. And I have had them come to me and say, you were right.
Right.
And after thousands and thousands of dollars paying someone else, which is really sad because I think people sell other people on ideas and fantasies, which
Yeah.
is sad that seeing that that's the way people make money.
But I mean, if we think about it logically, like taking my age, like I'm 37 this year, I've grown up with 37 years of my conditioning and who I was. And like, well, I started working with you when I was 36. So let's just say 36. So 36 years. So 36 years is going to trump 1 year of working with you. Like
Oh, for
it just is. And like,
yeah.
sure, I have the tools now to try to not go back to the past, but that doesn't mean that that's still not there because 36 years trumps a year
Mhm.
of coaching and healing. Granted, I'm light years beyond what I could have ever imagined working with you. But I'm just saying, like, if we think about logically, like childhood trauma and things that we have to overcome, like, that's not going to go away in a year of work.
Oh my God, no. And also, like, I think it's also like directly proportional, right? And when people ask me, it's like, oh, can I be healed in 1 year? Can I be healed in 3 years? Can I be healed in 5 months? I will literally say this is like directly proportional to how much trauma you've had and
Right.
the level, not just how much, the level of trauma you've had, and also your mindset and your
I
personality.
was about to say the
So
willingness to change.
yes, because I have worked with clients who have had so much trauma, but they're just so ready. When I say ready, oh my God, like they will show up all day, every day if they have to. And they have healed in 3 months. I mean, when I say healed, they've healed 95%, which is a big deal. And then they continue to do the work little by little by little by little after because it's a journey. Like I said, it's not a destination. Whereas there are some people I've been working with for 4 years, then they're still my clients, and no shame. I love them. They're very amazing, awesome human beings. But it has taken them a little more time because of their mindset that they have certain fears associated with healing, and their childhood traumas are associated with the fears to the healing. So it's like
Right.
so much directly proportional to that. So that's why it's really important to say, oh, not to say, oh, I'm going to be healed and after I'm going to be done. Like you're just not done.
Right.
And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can embrace life even more.
That reminds me of something that's hilarious. It has nothing to do with me, but I had a friend tell me one time, like he went to therapy for a few months, I guess. And he told me, I said, clearly you could tell that he still needed to be in therapy. And I was like, so how's therapy going? He was like, oh, I'm done. I was like, you're done. What do you mean you're done with therapy? He said, I graduated. She told me I didn't
Gosh.
need to come back. I was like, you may want to find another therapist.
I remember that conversation with you. Oh my
Because I was
God.
like, you're not healed, baby boy. Like, keep working, keep working.
Yeah, and I had somebody like tell me, God, I hope he's not listening to this. Not a client, guys, not a client. Just somebody that I knew and know told me that I already know everything that's wrong. I don't need a therapist to tell me that.
Mm,
And I'm just like, that's not enough, son. It's like,
yeah. That's
just
probably the worst thing you could have said.
that's not enough. I'm like, just because you're aware of all the things that have happened and you're aware of the pain doesn't mean you're healing. Awareness is literally a baby step, which is the first step. I understand that. There are like
And I
10,000
think
steps.
there's something that you told me that literally like was a knife to my heart when because I feel like I'm very self-aware, right? So like you told me like you said being self-aware is the first step, but being self-aware is also how did you word it? You said when you become self-aware, now it's a choice. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, so I'm making the choice to be this way now versus when you weren't self aware, you weren't making that choice. Now, like, and ever since you said that, I'm like more aware. And I'm
Yeah.
like if I do something that, like, is like past behavior and I did it, and then I'm like, ooh, that was a choice I just made because I know better.
Yes. Oh my God. And I teach people the power of choice, right? But it's so, that's so true. That's very accurate. And that's how I feel. It's like yesterday, I went to this movie. By the way, I think you should watch it. Side note, I'll tell you about it later. But I don't generally, and John has been amazing about coaching me with the right foods to eat, which I think has to also be another episode on the health stuff. But
Yes.
yesterday, I just wanted M&Ms. I just wanted M&Ms. So I went to the movies with a few friends and then I literally got M&Ms and I had this voice in my head which is like, oh my God, 18 grams of sugar
Mm-hmm.
and then 148 calories. That's not the problem, but it was the 18 grams of sugar that was like, I was like 18 grams of sugar. And then at that moment, I made a choice. I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? I'm going to eat these M&Ms
I'm
because
proud
I
of you.
yes, you should be. I'm gonna eat it. I'm okay eating it, and it's totally fine. It's not like every day I'm filling my plate up with M&Ms. This is like one day occurrence or it occurs randomly. I'm gonna enjoy these M&Ms, and I really did. And I didn't even finish it. I just had like 10 and I was done. And then I still had it, but I didn't have guilt or shame because that's I think we talked about the power of
Yeah.
choice.
And
So
I
yeah,
want to talk about that in the new year, like your health journey and your nutrition journey, because I don't talk about nutrition a lot on this podcast. Like I've done a few episodes, but it is my life passion just because
yeah,
I struggled so much with it that like my biggest passion in life is to like tell all women like you're being lied to. Like, just listen, which it's
right
hard,
on.
which you had a hard time, and which, again, this is a
Hard
podcast
time.
for another day. You had
Yeah.
a hard time understanding, like, eat more makes you lose weight. And you're like, wait, 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 that's not what I've been told my entire life, which it's not. Like, that's what we're told as women our entire life is eat less, move more, you'll lose weight. But, anyways, that's another episode for another day.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, the other thing which actually like translated without even talking about it is healing is a journey, not a destination, and the power of choice is really the best thing you can own, right? And so I talk to my clients about this so much, which is like whatever you do, start owning it.
Mm-hmm.
Start owning it. Say that I did it and I'm doing it. It may be a mistake or it may not be a mistake. I'm willing to take those chances and I'm willing to take responsibility for what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
was specifically coaching this client in getting back together with her ex, and Jonna and I have done episodes on that. And it's a very like turbulent relationship and very, very turbulent. And I would even label it as toxic. And I think she was going to give him another chance. And I said, well, and she was really like afraid to come and tell me, but she really wanted to tell me. She was like, I don't want you to judge me. And I said, well, it's not my job to judge.
Mm-hmm.
It's my job to listen and hold
Yeah.
space, coach you where it's needed. That's it. And then so she told me, oh, I think I'm willing, I think I'm going to give him another chance. I said, okay, but can it be different this time? And she was like, how? I said, well, can you take responsibility that you are allowing this person back into your life and stop labeling him as a narcissist and stop labeling him as toxic. And because you are creating space for that toxicity, which is fine, but I want you to own. that and say that I will take responsibility for however this turns out.
And I love that you say that because I feel like that's something I've always been good at. Like I clearly have not been in the best relationships in the past. But one thing I will say about myself is like when people like you have your girlfriends that like surround themselves with you and you're like, screw him, da, da, and I'm like, but no, I actually allowed this. Like, so I have to take ownership and my responsibility in this. Like, I'm allowing the behavior. I'm actually perpetuating the behavior because I'm allowing it, so forth and so forth and so forth. So, what does that say about me?
Exactly. And that's so powerful. It's like, but it's very brutal,
Yeah.
because I think once I started seeing life like that and asking questions like that, it was like a stab in the heart every time something happened. But then after a while, you're gonna, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So it's like
Right.
stabs. After a while, it anchors into who you are becoming and how strong you become and how you own your choices.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's so own your choice, owning our choices, is another greatest lesson that for me in 2024 I had to learn. Like I mean, I'm just going to say it, right? It's like there was this particular coach that I worked with in actually in 2023, and it was not a good experience. It was not a good experience. It was not a personal coach relationship. It was a business coach. And it was 6 months and it was a lot of money, guys. Oh my God. Like I can't even fathom. It was a lot of money that I invested because I was just like, as an entrepreneur, I should be willing to take risks if I want to up level and if I want to get more creative in my business. So I took those risks, and it was not a good experience after six. And I was stuck in a kind of a guilt and shame cycle because I'm very good with money and I have a very good relationship with money. Like I save, I invest, I spend, like I have a good relationship with money. So I had this huge shame spiral for a few weeks, almost where my partner had to be like, when you decided this, you didn't own it completely,
Right.
but you decided it with the level of tools and the awareness you absolutely had at that time.
Mm-hmm.
That time you were still in integrity, and that helped me so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right. Like at that time, I was still true to myself.
Right.
I was lying to myself. I just didn't have enough information.
Yeah.
What they say, a crush is just a lack of information.
Yeah. It is. It
It's
is.
like that. It's like that. So some choices that we make, which may be poor choices, and we reflect on it later, it is literally just a lack of knowledge and information about
Right.
that situation or about that person.
Right.
So after I owned that choice, I was able to forgive myself for that quote on, I don't even want to call it mistake, for that experience.
Yeah.
And obviously I made that money back. It's not about the money. It's the time I invested and it's the expectations and all those things. So own your choices. That's what
Right.
own your choices, because it brings a lot of self-awareness. And not only does it bring self-awareness, it brings strength and it brings freedom.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. And then the other thing, which I think John and I talked about before, is like messy action is better than no action.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about like life lessons or are we talking about relationship? Because I don't know. I've had some messy actions in relationships.
Yes, we're talking about everything. We're talking about mainly staying disciplined in the things that you need to do. For example, it's not all or nothing. For example, if
That's
you're
true.
deciding to eat healthy and
Right.
some people, they'll be like, oh, I had a cheat meal, I messed up. Okay, now I'm done.
Yeah.
And it's that perfectionist mentality, which
Yeah. Yeah.
I struggled with that a lot. And Jana, you coached me on that for sure. I think like once I started my health journey, I had a trip planned to Universal,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, Jana, oh my God, like I'm going to Universal Studios, like they have butterbeer and they have, what do I
Eat
do?
it, drink it,
Yeah,
come
yeah,
back and start over.
exactly. And that's what I did. So it just gave me so much freedom when you said it doesn't have to be like all or nothing. And I say that to my clients a lot with other things, but in health, I needed someone to tell me that.
Right. And that's funny because I think it's just now hitting home with me. Sometimes these podcasts are very therapeutic, and therapy driven, but like that's just in life in general. Like, and maybe that's something I need to be better at going into 2025 is just being like when something happens, just accepting how it happened. And like you said, like having that, like, I did the best that I could with the tools that I had at the moment. It's not all or nothing. That doesn't mean that you backslid all the way. That doesn't mean that all your progress is gone. Like, get up tomorrow,
Yep.
do better,
Yep.
and forgive yourself.
Yep. Yep. And one of the coaches that I worked with, oh my God, she's so amazing. She gave me this example and she said, when the train is running really fast and somebody stops the train, it still takes a few seconds for the train to stop.
Right.
I was just like, boom, you
Right.
know? So even if you're consistently doing something and you stop, it's fine. It doesn't mean it's ended. It's
Right.
just you can pause. It's just slowing down. And that means you can pick it back up anytime you want, anytime.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, so I'm just like, yeah, that's so easy. That makes it so simple. It brings more self-acceptance. And I think, like, for me, my style of coaching, and Jana knows this, it's like, yes, I can be aggressive and all of that. But what I am a big advocate of is self-acceptance and, inner strength and confidence and owning who you are.
Right.
Like, I'm very big on you develop the self-worth and then you start making really good choices after you develop that self-worth. So I feel like taking some action is still better than taking no action because I feel like perfectionism for me has led to so much procrastination in the past
Yeah.
where I'll think, oh, okay, this post is not perfect. I'm not going to post it on Instagram. When people actually didn't give a shit about what I posted, they care
Right.
about the value of the information that was in the post. They didn't care about the aesthetics at all. You
Right.
know, I would get like likes and shares based on the value. So it was all projection. The whole concept of perfectionism is full on projection as to, oh, what will they think? And this is how it has to be, like all that. So if you're like waiting to start something, maybe you want to start running, maybe you want to start working out, you want to start eating healthy, just start.
Right. No, I agree 1000%. Like that's something that I think that everybody does anyways at the new year, right? Like I
Yeah.
go to the gym all year long and then the people that typically go to the gym like constantly, like that's the dreaded time to go to the gym, right? Like if you're a avid gym goer, the new year comes along, your gym is busier. It's slightly annoying. Not that it's like I'm happy that people are in there, but then it's like it dies off after a month. But it's almost like why do we wait till 1/1, January 1st
Oh my God,
to
I'll still talk about it in the next episode, but
right,
yes,
like why do we
absolutely.
do that? Like why do we wait till that mark? Like if you're ready to start on Christmas Day and you get the spark and you're like, "You know what? Tomorrow morning I'm gonna go to the gym." Go. You don't have to wait. You don't have to be like, well, it's not January 1st. Like, just go.
And I think that's also like really like talking about conditioning again, very false conditioning that you have to start everything in the new year and it's
Hmm.
somebody else is doing it. Now, why are
Yeah.
you doing what everyone is doing?
Like, and I get like it's a huge motivator. Like it is. It's a new year, like new year, new me thing. Like it's
Yeah,
a huge motivator, but like why we shouldn't wait for arbitrary things
exactly.
to motivate us. Like we should be able to motivate ourselves, like kind of like our episode that we did on motivation versus discipline. Like we should be able to be motivated and disciplined any time of the year, not just one time of the year.
Mhm. No, I totally 1000%, like 1000% agree.
Because the new
Um,
year is going to fade off, right? Like the new year is going to fade off. And then where is your motivation and discipline coming from? If it was coming from that arbitrary number, it's
mhm.
gone.
That's very true. And also all the dopamine
Yeah.
around it. God, yes, it's 1-1. All that is also going to die so quickly. Oh my God.
Right.
Literally, it'll even die when the second and third comes around. You'll be like,
Agreed. Agreed. Agreed.
like take messy action instead of taking perfect action. Like any goal, just start and then
Hmm.
refine it, refine it, refine it, refine it, refine it. I cannot tell you how many times I have refined my goals. It has never, like, especially in 2024, that's what I learned. It was never perfect. I
Right.
just refine it.
Right.
It's okay. You're not perfect. You're not a robot.
Right.
You
Agreed.
know,
Now, is that all that you had that your top I don't know if you want this for the next episode or this episode, but do you want to talk about the things that you're leaving behind in 2024 and the things that you will carry on into 2025, or is that the next episode?
well, I feel like these are things I've already kind of left behind. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I've left behind like lack of boundaries
Hmm.
have to be behind that healing has to be a destination, you
Okay.
know.
So
I feel
what would you say your top three things that you want to take into 2025, I guess? You tell me your top three things you want to take into 2025, and I'll tell you my top three things.
Yeah, my top three things is number one, discipline is God.
Okay.
Literally, discipline is self-love. Like I'm really going to take that into 2025. And when I say discipline, guys, I don't mean, oh, every day, 5 a.m., 4 a.m. Not that. My form of discipline can even look like, okay, 3 times a week, I'm going to do this.
Okay.
Or 4 times a week, I'm going to do this. So just having a ritual that is realistic for me that I'm really planning to take in 2025. And the second thing I'm really going to take in 2025 is obviously I don't want to toot my horn, but the tools that I have are just priceless. So I'm going to anchor that in even more, and I'm going to do it even more, and I'm going to go deeper into myself,
Mm-hmm.
um, deeper into my soul, and deeper into my purpose, rather than looking at anybody else and seeing what anybody else is doing. Because I mean, I don't know if anybody who's listening to this who's a coach will understand, but you guys need to understand the coaching industry is it's a little overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is a lot of coaches that say one thing, the other coaches say different things, and there's a lot of conflict that happens in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so the one thing that I've learned, which I'm going to take in 2025, is I have my own style. It doesn't have to look like any other coach. It doesn't have to be like anybody else. I have my own style, and that's why I've attracted the types of clients that I have attracted because I have my own style, and that's fine.
Right.
I'm really anchoring that in,
Yeah.
really anchoring that in. And then the third thing I'm taking in 2025 is financial literacy. I feel like I educated the hell out of myself in financial management and financial literacy because my partner, you know, he's into finances and he's into financial planning and he's very good about that. So there was a lot of like educational conversations we had and how I can budget this, how I can pay my debt and this and that, where I can save, where I can invest, how to improve my relationship with money. So I am definitely taking a lot of knowledge with financial literacy and finding balance in that reality in
Mm-hmm.
2020.
Mm-hmm.
Because I help my clients with that also, which is improving their relationship with money and finances.
Yeah.
What
Well, my
about you?
top three are not as elaborate as yours. Mine is to love myself more because I
Yes,
don't do that enough. Number two would be to worry less, which we will see how that goes.
I think you're doing, actually, I know that you're doing so much better.
And so I'll put two in two. So worry less, stop and try your best to stop controlling every situation. That's my number two.
That's probably number one.
No, number one is love myself more because I think I need to do that more. Number two is to worry less and stop controlling things. And number three, which nobody come after me if I don't do this in 2025, but I'm going to do my best to try to be more social because it almost feels like every day is Groundhog's Day in my house because I do the same thing every day: work, gym, come home, watch TV, go to sleep. So I'm going to
Mhm.
try my best to be a little bit more social. Maybe we'll see.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God, I feel like I need to steal that. The last one. Jeez, I can be a hermit too. It's just I work a lot and then
Yeah, we'll see.
work
I don't know
well.
if that one will come to fruition, but that's the goal.
It's a goal I see. It's a goal. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have the guts to say that that can be a goal for me because I don't even trust myself to do
I
that.
don't
So
trust that I'll do anything with it, but I'm gonna try.
yes, yes. No, I absolutely love it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of, my reflections in 2025, my tiny goals, what I'm taking with me, and what Jonna is taking with her, and obviously her input, which because it's just so interesting. It's
Yeah.
just so interesting what you have to say
And
always.
what we're leaving behind. So when y'all listen to this, if y'all listen to this on Tuesday when it's out, it's New Year's Eve. If you listen the following day or anytime after, Happy New Year. And I hope you all have goals that you are putting into light.
Yes, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next episode, guys, like how to set realistic goals with systems that you can actually follow. So stay tuned for that one. We will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much, guys, and Happy New Year in advance. Happy New Year's Eve or Happy New Year's Day whenever you listen to this.
Yeah, same ditto. All right, guys, until the next one. Bye.